I want to apologize if this video feels disappointing to some of you. I won't be doing faceless episodes like this very often. But in particularly hectic seasons of life, this is the only way I can still show up and say what needs to be said. Strangely, these videos have received some of the deepest responses. People tell me they feel seen, that their own experiences finally have words. And maybe that matters more than being on camera. These pieces are for those moving through a process of deconstruction, where I'm allowed to create and reflect differently. So if you can, sit down, pour a cup of tea, slow your breathing, and just listen. Today, I want to talk about a very specific moment. The moment when deconstruction reaches its quiet end. When the familiar story of your life suddenly no longer holds. Living without a script. Looking back, I can see my earlier life as something already arranged. Each phase followed the next. Measured, orderly, sensible. As if heaven had already taken everything into account. I grew up believing that everything happened for a reason. That hardship came before ease. That losing one thing meant gaining another. Life felt like a long, unfolding performance. And I was simply playing my part. There was comfort in that. A sense that nothing was random. That someone, somewhere, had already calculated the outcome. And because of that, I didn't notice when the story began to crack. It didn't collapse all at once. It unraveled quietly, like background music at a ceremony, slowly fading, until one day I looked up and realized the sound was gone. No crowd, no guide, just me, standing alone in life, understanding something for the first time. Much of what I once called faith was habit, tradition, obedience, not a living relationship with reality. Before, I always felt that my life was heading somewhere. Even in confusion, I believed it was held inside a larger order. Struggles were temporary tests. Mistakes were lessons. Pain was preparation. I didn't know what came next, but I trusted it had already been arranged. That belief did something subtle to me. It softened urgency. It made waiting feel noble. If something hurt, heaven must be refining me. If things stalled, it must be a redirection. If something collapsed, it must be protection from something worse. There was always a second meaning behind reality. When you believe your life has a script, you live differently. You hesitate differently. You endure differently. Even grief feels different. Because somewhere inside, you believe your suffering is being witnessed. The first time I truly felt the absence of a script, it wasn't despair that met me. It was exposure. Like standing in a house after all the scaffolding has been removed. Realizing that if it stands on its own structure. There was no higher draft left to justify things. If I hurt someone, then I hurt them. No hidden goodness behind it. If I wasted time, it was wasted. No promise it would somehow balance out. If I failed, then I failed. There was no unseen editor rewriting the story to make it meaningful. At first, that felt heavy. But then, it felt honest. Without believing in the infinite, I finally understood the value of the finite. Because life ends, it matters. Because nothing is guaranteed. Every choice carries weight. Meaning didn't disappear. It sharpened. Living without a script means losing the comfort of inevitability. No promise that you'll grow. No assurance that suffering is purposeful. No guarantee that things resolve cleanly. There is only the present moment. And yourself moving inside it. Before, I searched for signs. I treated circumstances like messages. I waited for confirmation before acting. Now, there is nothing to decode. Only a very thin distance between intention and consequence. Decisions feel real again. If life were a performance, this would be the only showing. No rehearsal. No second run. Just today. Just now. I look around and realize the only audience is made up of those directly affected by what I do. No invisible eyes watching. No cosmic scoreboard. And so I step out of the spotlight. I no longer need my life to be grand. I don't need it to echo eternity. It's enough that it's happening. I am not a character. I was not written into this life. I am a person. A breath in the wind. A small flame. Warming itself until the wax runs out. And that is enough.